Good morning, I'm Robert Hodum. I'm going to give you some tips and show you how to install a package bees first. Then I'm going to show you how to install a nook when you get your bees. First, I'd like to tell you that you need to have your equipment put together in the location where your bees are going to be, not sitting on your front porch unless that's where you're going to leave it. You need to have them out in a good location. A good location would probably be full sun. The entrance should be either facing, I like it facing the east, they'll fly earlier, or south. You need to have them up off the ground. All of this, you should have all your plans made, because when the post office calls you on a package, they want you to come get it. And quick as you get it, no later than late that evening, you should install those bees. Well, what if it's raining? I'd install the bees. I would make it late in the evening. But package bees will usually come through the post office. To get them there, first thing I'd do once I'd picked them up, they'll come in a cage like this. I'd get me a spray bottle, and I'd mix me about 25% sugar and 75% water, and I'd put it in a spray bottle, and I'd go all the way around this lightly. Get them start to eating. They'll clean each other off. First, I'd have on all my gear. If you're a new beekeeper, you need to have it on. You don't need to be stung. Sometimes I've installed them later on without mine, but you need to have it on. But I'd spray the bees good, get them to eat, cleaning up each other. I'd set this out down. I'd keep it over here. I'd open up my box. And I'd take out on one side enough frames, and I'd lay them aside. And I'd make sure, I've got the bees eating now, I'd make sure though that this box, it won't fit in there with 3. You got to take out probably 4. And I'd set the box over it, completely down in there. I'd take the food, it comes with some food in it, probably be a tin can. I'd take it out. There'll be a queen in there with them, and she'll be in a cage like this. It'll have a little wire on it. You need to take the end out that has the candy in it. There'll be a cork in the end, and there'll be candy behind it. The other end will just have a cork. Don't take the one out that's just got the cork. I'd take this, and when I took this out, I'd spray them a little bit more. Keep them eating. Keep them cleaning up. I'd move this over here almost to the other side, and I'd wedge it in there, but I'd also make sure that the end that's got the candy in it is turned up, so that when the bees come out from over here, they're going to come to her smell, and they'll come over here and they'll eat that candy out. And then the next morning, all these bees that was in this box, you just go down there next morning, they'll be out. You done moved her way over here, all the bees come out. You just take this out. If there's 1 or 2 on there, you can shake them in front. But more than likely, there will not be any bees there. They'll be over here. Your queen, I wouldn't look too much. I might peep to see if she's out. More than likely, they'll have 2 corks in it, and if you take that first one out, they'll eat the candy out real fast. So I'd leave them, I'd put the frames back in that I took out. I'd make sure that I have a way to feed them. All package bees need to be fed. As long as they have wax to make into cells, they need food. They'll expand on that. This is just a feeder that I have. I use these, but a beginner will probably have an entrance feeder. You need it to have you can put a jar on it. You need to feed them until they get all the wax pulled, not just on one frame, but all the way across. Feed the bees. And that mixture can be anywhere from 50% sugar to 50% water. Mix it up and make sure it's liquid before you turn the jar upside down. Packaged bees, sometimes if you feed them well, get them early, feed them, keep food on them, they will get strong enough maybe to make you one small box of honey. Packaged bees, the post office don't want them, so you be ready, you go get them the same day, put them in no later than late that evening. If you get more than one, the distance you have them apart, I turn one this way, facing just a little bit that way. The next one I'll turn facing this way. And that will keep the bees from drifting and going in the wrong box. I didn't do that the only time I ever bought packaged bees, and then the next day I went back to check on them and only had 9. One of the 10 went into another box. And you didn't have to guess which one, because there's about twice as many bees in that box as there was in the one that's empty, or the ones that just had one in them. I called the guy and told him that I bought them from is Mr. Weaver. I said, they wouldn't really all equally. You could look through the cage and you could tell how many bees is in there. Some of them would be almost full, the others would have very few. And he said, oh, I had a new guy. I said, I'll just send you a whole new package. And he did. He was more than fair. But I just wanted him to send me a queen, because I didn't know much about them. I didn't know how to find that queen, really. So he sent me a new package. Packaged bees do good if you'll take care of them and feed them. Got everything in there. You got them food. I wouldn't bother them. For 2 days, and I go back and look in 2 days to make sure the queen is out, and take the queen cage out. Don't throw it out there on the ground. They might go back. Some of them might go around it. There'll still be some smell probably on it. But I'd put them in there and I'd keep them food. They're your bees, but you don't need to bother them until, keep them food, and don't go in them about once a week. They said, well, I won't go in them every day. We'll get you 5 or 6 boxes of bees, so you go in one each day. But packaged bees is a good way to get bees. There's some other ways. But you new beekeepers, be sure you suit up, put your bees in. Some people want to turn these over and shake them. That'll work, but that kind of irritates them. There'll be a few flying around your head. But if you'll spray them real good and set it in there, you won't have any problem with it. We're going to talk now about how to install a nucleus colony. And more than likely, you should have your equipment ready. It's the same way. And more than likely, you'll need to go pick these up. The Memphis area beekeepers are taking orders, 5 or 6 different suppliers. If you go attend the website, I think it's all on there, and the price. There's different prices, there's different variety of bees. I like Russian bees. Some people have, I guess just to say bees, but I enjoy the Russian bees. Why I started with Russian bees, I have a friend that I work with, and he had 3 sons. And I had a few bees the year after he quit work with me, and because I'd had to listen to how he caught swarms and what all they did when we was waiting on the ducks to fly. But anyhow, I caught one off the fence and it died for me. So I started going to Memphis area beekeepers, and that was in 1982. And I got a couple, I asked for help, and the guy held up his hand, said, I'll help you. But after about the second visit over at his house, I found out that he was the guy that moved the boxes and did what his wife told him to do to get so she could take care of the bees. So I had a good lady to teach me, and she was very gracious with her knowledge. She showed me, do I do things like she does? A lot of it, but I changed, and as time come along, I had to change. We didn't have a lot of the, if you didn't have American foul brood, you didn't have any problem with bees. But now you've got all kinds of problems if you don't take care of them. Let's talk about your package. Your Nook will come in a box, most likely like this. And I'm gonna have to do a little juggling here. We're gonna use some of the same frames, and we're gonna talk about how to put a Nook in. It's gonna be 5 frames. And does that mean 5 frames of bees? Well, maybe not. It should mean at least 3 frames of brood and some food and a laying queen. Well, I can't find the queen. Last year a guy called me and said, there's not a queen in there, there's eggs. Well, Sunday after I got through going to my church, I called him and asked him, could I come look? If I see eggs, I go on a Nook. I pull up a frame and look at it. If I got eggs, I go on and try not to mash them. But I went out and the guy had a queen. I showed him to her and he was happy after that. But to install that Nucleus colony, you need a box. You need to have, you're going to have to feed the bees just like you do a package. You're going to have baby bees on at least 3 frames, sometimes it may be more. And you want to put them in the center of this box. And when you take them out, we're going to take them out of the Nook box. We won't put this one here and this one over here. We take them out of this box and set them into this box in the same order that they come. We won't turn them around. They'll go right back in there just the way they come out. In other words, you can take 2 at a time probably, but you wouldn't turn them around, you just put them in there. Move all 5 of them. And more than likely, the bees that you're getting in the Nook, the 2 outside frames, may not be completely stretched out or filled out, but they may be working them on the inside. And sometimes they'll all be full. But more than likely they won't be. They'll over ready and about ready to swarm. If they get completely full in this Nook box and you don't give them more room, they will swarm. But I take them out, put them in there, make sure I got feed. Take this box and I turn it up like this and bump it a little bit. And don't put it out front because some of them might gather on it again. But you got your queen in there. You got food on the front, or you got a feeder inside. You need to feed these bees the same as you do a package. And I'd go back and look at them maybe in 2 days. And I'd make sure they don't run without food until they get all the wax expanded out and either food or brood in them. And they will go from the center out better than they will from one side to the other. You can look for a queen if you want to, but I did install these bees the same day I got them, even if it's raining. I'd put them in their home. I'd have the box sitting where it needs to, where you're going to leave it, up off the ground. And I'd also tell you that late in the evening is probably the best time to put them in. But if it's real hot, I'd put them in during the daytime. You don't want to leave them in the Nook box because they've been traveling. I'd put them in, give them their new home as early as possible, but no later than late evening. How to get this Nook from bothering you? You might could spray it a little bit, but they're going to be happier than they are coming in a package. They're not going to be as. If you want to use a little smoke around, that's fine. I'd rather have the water, but you might need a smoker to smoke them out around this box or around from the side or rake them over in there. Some of them's going to get loose and want to fly a little bit. But smoke, you can guide them with smoke, but you wouldn't just go down there try to blow their wings off. Just go give them a little smoke at a distance, and if you ever get to catch a swarm of bees and they're on the ground, it's so much fun if you get the bee fever to set that box over there, or even a cardboard box, and you could set it 2 or 3 inches from them, or maybe even a foot from them, and get back over here about another 3 feet and just start smoking lightly, and just walk up a little bit closer to them, and the back ones will send a message, and all of them will start running, and they'll just walk in. They'll walk in a little cardboard box. They'll walk in this box. Just a little smoke, but don't go down there and try to blow their wings off. Don't. I have been guilty of that when I get into something on a dreary day, and I wanted to check them, and the next thing I know, they're stinging through that bee suit. I tried to burn some of the wings off, but I want to say this about your bees. I hope I've helped you know how to install your package. I hope I helped you show you how to install a Nook. But if you get the bee fever, there's a lot of things that you'll do that you wouldn't think you'd do before you got it. I got it in 1983. In 86, I borrowed some money, and I told the guy I borrowed some money from, don't you send no statement to my house. Why? I said, well, might be some problems there. My wife don't know this. And I said, she'd get me first, and you might be the second one. But I lived with my wife for 54 years before she deceased, went to a better place. But I enjoyed beekeeping. She respected my beekeeping. And I hope each family that gets bees can enjoy it as much as I have, or just a little bit of what I have. I've enjoyed it. I have a few bees now. I don't have many. But if it gets in your system where you enjoy it, you'll want more bees. You can get too many now. I told you I started in 82. There's been several beekeepers that wanted 10 or 15 the first year. About 3 years later, will you buy what equipment I got? I don't have any bees. If you got deep pockets, that's fine. But if you got a wife and 2 kids and they're trying to send them to college, it's kind of tough. So I'm just saying, spend your money wisely. Grow small, start small and grow up. If you don't ever do more than you can double, don't more than double, until you get over 50. Now, once you've had 50 and you keep 40 of them alive, or 35 alive from year through the winter, you've had them long enough that you know what you need to do. But don't try to get 20 the first year, or 10. I'm scared that the sting might run you off, or you might have a family problem or whatever, because it can be expensive getting bees. Bees, I quit my job when I was 58 years old in 1998. And all I've done is keep bees and sell honey since, and it's been good to me. It's not an easy job. There's nothing light about honey. There's nothing clean about working bees, particularly when it's August and you need to pull your honey. You'll have water in your boots. It's a lot of work. It's an enjoyable job, though. I enjoy it. I still go to the bee yard, and I'm going to help some. I got a few bees, and I'm going to get back up to about 20, and I'm going to help some other friends make divisions, make splits. Some of them sell them. But I've enjoyed beekeeping. I want to tell you, it's what you want to make it. If you put a lot into it, you got to be on the bee schedule. You cannot take a month's vacation in March. You need to look at your bees. You need to look at your bees no more than 14 days apart. See what they're doing. Well, how do I know? Look to see if she's laying eggs. If its bee population is down, you need to look. You'll have swarming if you don't take care of them, or you'll have starving out, whatever. There's a lot to it. Get you a bee buddy. Bee buddy is the best way to go. Now, does that mean they're gonna take care of your bees? Well, I don't know. I've been hooked a time or two. Does that mean that they're gonna come help you when you want them to? First, you need to go with them. And I worked one guy's bees twice. And every time he was gonna come before I'd go back. He never did come. I went the third time, I said, I'm not coming back to help you. Why? I said, you didn't help me a day. It's the third day I've been over here, and it took me an hour to get there, an hour to get back, an hour while I was there. I could use some manual. If you want to be buddy, you got to be a buddy. You got to go. If you want them to help, you put it out there first, and you help them. Then if they don't come help you, shame on them. But if you help them first, surely they'll help you. I will, still today. I could talk a lot more, but I hope that you have a successful first, second, or third year in bees, wherever that fits you. I'll take a question. Did I miss anything, guys?
When's the best time when the Nooks come in?
When they come in, I'd put them in the same day.
They'd be in spring? Or?
All the Nooks will start coming in probably the last of March. The earlier, I'd say most of the time, the earlier the better. It depends upon how strong they are. But March, April, May, usually June is maybe marginal time, late time to get them in this area here. Most of your early packages will come from further south. Your people that divide bees up here, they may have some last of April, mid-May. But I'd rather have, if I was dividing my bees up, I'd want to divide them up no later than the 1st of April. And after the 1st of April, they'll do good. If you divide them up in May, you may have to humor or pet them or feed them different or do something different to get them strong enough that they'll survive the winter. But package bees sometimes come early. Package bees, price-wise, it looks like a bargain. But I wouldn't buy a package today. I've only bought 10. And when I got enough to divide my own up, I went with a guy that showed me how to do it. And I got to buying the queens and divide my own bees up. Any other question? Bees, Nooks, and packages should, anything in June I wouldn't want, but I'd probably take them. I've been told a swarm wouldn't make it after the 1st of July. They might, they may not. But if I caught a swarm after the 1st of July, I'd figure out which box I had that was the weakest, and I'd have it in a cardboard box, and I'd open the top of that box about sundown a little after, and I'd shake that cardboard box full of that other one. Put the lid, smoke them, put them in there, smoke them again, put the lid on, walk away. But I'm just telling you what I do. That might not work for everybody. Any other questions? Been on too long. Thank y'all.